네, 오늘은 인도네시아에 살고 있는 레이첼 씨, 미국에서 인도네시아로 지금 넘어가서 자원봉사로 영어를 가르치고 계시는데 이분의 이야기를 들어보겠습니다. 어떤 선생님이 기억에 남을지 사실 예상되는 선생님은 최근에 이제 인도네시아어를 배우기 시작했으니까 그
Alright.
선생님일 것 같은데요.
Yeah, I think so as well. So why don't we just call her out so we can see if we're right?
오케이?
레이첼 씨,
나와주세요.
나와주세요.
My favorite teacher is a teacher I had recently, actually, when I joined the Peace Corps and learned Indonesian. It was my teacher, Lucy, and she worked for Wisma Bahasa, which is a language school in Yogyakarta, and they came to our training to train all of the Peace Corps volunteers in how to speak Indonesian in just 10 weeks. So they were trained to do this in a short amount of time, so we had classes with them sometimes for 10 hours a day. Lucy was my first teacher and my last teacher at the very end of training, and she was just fantastic. She gave me a great foundation in the beginning, the first week that I had her, and after that we had rotations of teachers, but I always wanted Lucy again. She always had fun games, and she explained things really clearly, and just gave us a lot of really useful vocabulary that made me feel like I knew the language really well. So I was glad to have her at the end too, and now I can speak Indonesian.
Okay,
Wow,
fantastic. It's
that's
great.
great.
It's
Yeah.
great that she speaks Indonesian now. She added one more language
Right?
to the collection of languages
How
that
many
she
does she
speaks.
speak now? Like
6 or 7.
6 or 7, right?
That's amazing.
That's
자,
awesome.
그러면 어떤 이야기를 했는지 한 줄 한 줄 공부를 해볼 텐데요. 좋은 표현들이 정말 많이 들어있습니다. 같이 볼까요?
Okay, so the very first sentence is, my favorite teacher is a teacher I had recently, actually. My favorite teacher is a teacher I had recently, actually.
네, 다른 분들이 했던 이야기하고는 좀 다른 그 첫 번째 문장 형태죠. My favorite teacher was 이렇게 하는 것이 아니고 is a teacher I had recently. 최근에 만났던 선생님인데요. I had a teacher라고 할 때 그냥 번역하면 선생님을 가졌다가 돼서 이상해요. 우리말로는.
Alright.
여기서는 그 선생님에게 배운 거죠.
When you say you had a teacher, of course it doesn't mean you have them in your pocket, but that you're taking their class.
That's right. 그래서 최근에 만난 선생님이에요라고 번역을 해봤고요. So how recently?
When I joined the Peace Corps and learned Indonesian. When I joined the Peace Corps and learned Indonesian.
네, 미국 평화봉사단에 합류를 해서 learned Indonesian, 인도네시아어를 배울 때 만났던 선생님이 my favorite teacher, 가장 제가 좋아하는 선생님이에요라고 하는 문장이었고요.
Okay. And next she says more information about the teacher. Okay. It was my teacher Lucy, and she worked for Wisma Bahasa. It was my teacher Lucy, and she worked for Wisma Bahasa.
네, 제 선생님인 루시였는데요. 그분이 이제 가장 좋아하는 선생님이다.
Right.
지금까지. So far, her favorite teacher. She worked for Wisma Bahasa라고 하는 어떤 기관 이름이겠죠. 바하사는 of course in Indonesian it means language.
Language.
네, 그래서 그냥 무슨 어떤 언어라는 기관 이름인데 work for가 정말 유용하게 쓰이는 문장이죠. 표현이죠. Work for an organization.
Or you work for a school. You
네.
work for a company. You work for a foundation.
네, 재단에서 일할 수도 있고 기업에서 일할 수도 있고 또는 기관에서 일할 수도 있는데 work for a person.
Yeah.
누군가 사람을 뒤에 쓸 수도 있어요. 그러면 그 사람이 고용을 한 거죠.
And it could be in many different cases. It could be at their actual company, or you can just work for someone, maybe as their house cleaner or something as well.
맞아요. 그래서 일을 한다고 했을 때 그 사람의 직업이다라고 꼭
Right.
단정 지을 수는 없는 게
Right.
그냥 잠깐 프리랜서로 아니면 어떤
Yeah.
프로젝트로 일을 해주는 경우도 I work for them, I worked for them 한번 어떤 일을 해준 적이 있다라고 할 수도 있기 때문이죠. And where is this place?
Okay, so Wisma Bahasa, which is a language school in Yogyakarta. Which is a language school in Yogyakarta.
네, 인도네시아의 지명인데요. 족자카르타에 있는 어학원이에요라고 표현을 했고, 여러분 어학원 또는 뭐 영어 학원도 될 수 있겠고, 어학을 배울 수 있는 학원, language school.
Yep, language school, or you could also say language academy as well.
language school, language academy, language institute 다 가능한데 뭐 academy 또는 institute가 안 떠오르면 그냥 school이라고 해도
Yeah.
괜찮습니다.
Yeah, any type of place where you learn something, even like cooking school, you can always just say school.
piano school,
Piano, yeah, anything, just say school.
dance school, anything. Okay. 다음 문장.
And And they come to our training to train all of the Peace Corps volunteers. And they come to our training to train all of the Peace Corps volunteers.
train이라는 말이 두 가지로 나오고 있는데 첫 번째는 training,
Training.
네, 명사죠.
Right. In that case, she means the training, the actual training, day where they're being trained.
그 교육 프로그램 자체를 말하는 거고요.
Yeah.
그 다음에 동사로 to
Train.
train이라고 했습니다.
Yeah.
여기서 train을 또 훈련이라고 번역하게 되면 오해가 있을 수 있는 게 훈련은 좀 다른 의미가 있죠. 근데 교육이라고 생각하시면 됩니다. train, 뭐 사실은 train 대신에 교육이라고 해서 educate를 쓰고 싶은 마음도 있겠지만 educate라고 하면 조금 느낌이 달라요.
Yeah, when you say educate, that means you're actually like at a college or something where you're getting an actual like degree
네,
or something.
어떤 교육 과정을 밟고 있는
Yeah.
것을 가리킬 수도 있겠고 또 somebody doesn't know something, so I'll educate you 이렇게 하면
right.
약간 모르는 걸 깨우쳐 준다라는 그런 일종의 부정적인 의미도 가질 수 있으니까 주의해야겠고요.
And next she says, in how to speak Indonesian in just 10 weeks. In how to speak Indonesian in just 10 weeks.
That's really quick.
That is very, very fast.
네, train 누구누구 in 이런 형태로 쓰였죠. 지금 train, I'll train you in breakdancing.
I'll train you in video editing.
Okay, I don't need training. I know how to do that.
Well, I'll train you in pole dancing. then.
Okay, yes,
Okay.
please. 그래서 in 하면 그 분야를 말하는 거고요. How to speak Indonesian in just 10 weeks. 10주 만에 인도네시아어를 하는 방법을 교육시키는 거였다는 그 프로그램 설명이죠. Okay.
And the next sentence she says a little bit fast. So first, let's take a look at the clip.
So they're trained to do this in a short amount of time. So they're trained to do this in a short amount of time.
앞부분이 좀 빨랐죠.
Yeah, so let me read to you what she says and let's take a look at the sentence. So they are trained to do this in a short amount of time.
So they are 이 부분 좀 빨랐습니다.
So they're trained. So they're trained.
네, so they're trained. 여기서 so라는 것은 뭐 어려운 단어 아니고 they도 어려운 거 아닌데 다 연결되면서 조금 다른 단어처럼 들렸죠. So they're trained to do this in a short amount of time. 여기도 연음이 됐는데 in a short amount of time, 짧은 시간에 in a long amount of time, 긴 시간에라는 말이죠. 그래서 그들은 이거를 짧은 시간에 train 하도록 train 받은 거죠.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's hear this part two more times.
So they're trained to do this in a short amount of time. So they're trained to do this in a short amount of time.
So we had classes with them sometimes for 10 hours a day. Right, I'll read it one more time. So we had classes with them sometimes for 10 hours a day.
네. 그래서 그분들과 with them, 그 선생님들이죠.
Right, the teachers,
네.
including Lucy, her
That's
favorite
right.
teacher.
That's right. Sometimes for 10 hours a day, not every single day because she said sometimes.
Right, sometimes. So maybe 2 days out of the week or something.
Yeah,
right?
maybe she normally had 7 hours a day, 6 hours a day to learn Indonesian. 그런데 가끔씩은 10시간.
That's right.
네, 그래서 가끔은 10시간까지도 10시간씩 수업을 한 거고요.
And so for the whole 10 weeks, did she have Lucy as her teacher?
Not really.
Yeah, so we'll find out in the next sentence. Lucy was my first teacher and my last teacher at the very end of training.
아하.
Lucy was my first teacher and my last teacher at the very end of training.
지금 두 부분으로 문장이 나눠져 있는데요. Lucy was my first teacher. 루시는 제 첫 번째 선생님이었고, and 그 다음 부분은 my last teacher at the very end of training. At the very end라고 하면은 끝 부분인데 정말 딱 끝 부분, 완전 마지막. 네.
Yeah. So the very last sets, I don't know how the teachers were rotated around, but the very, very last part.
네,
Yeah.
아마 뭐 10주간 배웠으니까 마지막 한 며칠 아닐까 싶어요. 왜냐면 at the end라고 하면은 좀 길 수 있는데 at the very end면 정말 짧은 그 단면만을 가리키거든요.
Right. So it was definitely just a few days.
Just a few days.
Yeah.
Definitely not the last 2 days.
2 days.
I mean 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Or 3
Definitely
weeks.
not.
아마 이틀, 2 days or 3 days or maybe 1 week.
Yeah. Up to a week,
네.
I would say.
네,
Right.
그래서 퍼센티지를 굳이 따지자면 뭐 10% 미만일 때 very end of
Very
training.
Right. So how was Lucy? She says, and she was just fantastic. She taught me, and she was just fantastic. She taught me.
네, 여기는 어려운 거 없죠. Just fantastic. Just가 들어간 이유는 강조를 위해서이고요. 뭐 말을 말할 필요 없이 그냥 fantastic,
Yeah, it was just amazing.
just perfect,
It was just delicious.
just beautiful.
It was just great.
네, 다른 형용사가 들어갈 여지가 없이 그냥 그거 자체였다라고 할 때 fantastic, 정말 잘 가르쳤어요라는 말이고 she taught me 뭘 가르쳐줬냐면 하고 하다가 문장이 조금 끊기면서 다른 문장으로 바뀌고 있어요.
Yeah, so she changed to a different sentence. So let's take a look at the clip of that sentence.
오케이?
She gave me a great foundation in the beginning, the first week that I had her. She gave me a great foundation in the beginning, the first week that I had her.
네, 여러분 들어보셨는데 다 이해가 되셨나요? 어떤 내용이었죠?
So she said, she gave me a great foundation in the beginning the first week that I had her.
아하.
She gave me a great foundation in the beginning the first week that I had her.
She gave me a great foundation. 기초를 잘 탄탄하게 쌓아준 거죠. 이것이 오늘의 핵심 문장으로 소개가 됐었는데 in the beginning, 초반에 잘 잡아야 돼요, 정말로.
All right.
네.
Well, that makes for a foundation. The things you learn in the beginning, the very basic, things that you learn are your foundation.
맞아요. 그리고 실제로 10주라고 하는 굉장히 짧은 3달도 안 되는 시간
Yeah.
동안 뭐 2달밖에 안 되는 거죠, 거의.
Yeah.
그 시간 동안 배운다면 초반에 기초를 탄탄하게 하지 않으면 나중에 복습할 시간이 없잖아요.
Right.
그래서 기초를 탄탄하게 해줬는데 in the beginning을 풀어서 the first week that I had her라고 말하는 부분이 좀 빨랐어요.
Yeah.
어떻게 말했죠?
The first week that I had her. The first week that I had her.
The first
that I
week
had her.
that I had her. 이제 had만 좀 입을 크게 벌려서 하는 발음이고 나머지가
Had her.
네, 빨랐죠.
Had her.
The first week that I had her 이렇게 했습니다. 자, 그러면 이 부분 여러분 잘 들리는지 확인해 보겠습니다.
She gave me a great foundation in the beginning, the first week that I had her. She gave me a great foundation in the beginning, the first week that I had her.
And after that, we had rotations of teachers, but I always wanted Lucy again. And after that, we had rotations of teachers, but I always wanted Lucy again.
여기서도 좋은 표현 두 가지 나오고 있습니다. 그 후에 we had rotations of teachers. 선생님들이 돌아가면서 가르쳤다. 이 표현 괜찮죠? We had rotations of classrooms.
Rotations of chefs.
That's right.
I've heard that in many cases.
네. 누군가가 돌아가면서 무언가를 돌아가면서 사용할 때 rotations of 뒤에 내용 붙여주면 되겠고요. But I always wanted Lucy again. 이 부분도 영어스러운 표현이에요. Want something.
Yeah.
한국어로는 뭐 Do you want milk? 우유를 원해라고 번역하지 않고 우유 마시고 싶어?
Right. Do you want to drink milk? Right.
그렇죠. Do you want rice? 뭐 밥 먹고 싶어?
All right.
Do you want steak? 스테이크 먹고 싶어?
Right.
이렇게 동사가 필요하죠.
Yeah, we use that a lot in many cases where you can just say you want something. So in this case, she wanted Lucy to be her teacher again.
그렇죠.
But you don't have to say that in English. Just
맞아요.
do you want? I want.
네.
Done.
그래서
Simple.
맞아요. 아이들이 엄마 데려와, 엄마 보고 싶어 이렇게 말할 때 I want mommy.
mom.
네, I want mom, I want mommy. 아주 간단하게 그냥 want로 표현을 할 수 있다는 거죠. Alright.
All right. And the next sentence, she says, she always had fun games and she explained things really clearly. She always had fun games and she explained things really clearly.
네, 항상 had fun games. 재미있는 게임들을 갖고 있었다라는 말은
Right.
이제 학생들과 했다라는 거고요.
Right.
And
she prepared the games.
That's right. She explained things really clearly. 설명을 아주 clearly, 명확하게 했어요.
Very simply. Okay, and next she says, and just gave us a lot of really useful vocabulary.
That's right.
And just gave us a lot of really useful vocabulary.
And just gave us. just도 여기서도 강조가 된 거죠. 그냥 이것만 했어요가 아니고요.
Right. It's just, she's just emphasizing it. She just made us the most delicious food.
That's right.
Yeah.
그래서 그 just 맛있는 음식만 해줬을 뿐 다른 걸 안 했다.
Right.
only로 번역하시면 안 되겠습니다.
Right.
그래서 a lot of really useful vocabulary, 아주 유용한 어휘들을 많이 소개해줬어요라고 했고요. 여러분 참고로 vocabulary는 세지 않아요. 그래서 vocabularies라고 말하지 않죠.
No. You have to say vocabulary word if you want to specify one or
That's
two.
right. 어휘라는 뜻이죠. Okay.
And the next one, she says, that made me feel like I knew the language really well. That made me feel like I knew the language really well.
That made me feel like I knew the language really well. 그 언어를 제가 정말 잘 아는 것처럼 느끼게 해줬습니다. 그런데 이제 그 make somebody feel like you knew something. 사실은 정말 모를 수도 있어요. You might not know everything about the language.
Right, but
네.
she just made you feel like it. Because you knew things, it gave you confidence, I guess, in
그렇죠.
a sense.
네.
You felt good about it.
맞아요.
Yeah, I can do this.
자신감을 준 거죠. She
Yeah.
gave Rachel a lot of confidence
Confidence,
about
right.
her Indonesian, even though in just 10 weeks, there's a limit to what you can learn.
Right. And
네.
maybe she just taught only the most important words. So even with just knowing a few words,
네.
she could talk to a lot of people.
그렇죠.
Yeah.
네, 자신감을 줬다라는 이야기였고요. And then the last sentence.
The final sentence is, so I was glad to have her at the end too, and now I can speak Indonesian. So I was glad to have her at the end too, and now I can speak Indonesian.
여기서 말하는 at the end라는 건 언제죠?
At the end of the 10 weeks,
So-
right? At the end of the program.
Yeah, probably. She said at the very end earlier, but it's probably the last week.
Yeah, because it sounds like every week they rotate to a different teacher,
네.
right?
그래서 이제 마지막 끝부분에 교육 끝부분의 마지막 주에 have her again 여기서도 다시 만나다라고 번역을 해보겠습니다. 다시 만나게 되어서 다시 루시가 제 선생님이 되어서 반가웠어요. I was glad, 기뻤어요. And now I can speak Indonesian. 이제 저는 인도네시아어를 할 수 있어요. 라고 이야기가 끝나고 있죠.
All right. Well, that was a great story. I'm glad that you can speak Indonesian. And so let's take a look at it 2 more times. The first time with English subtitles, the second time without. Let's watch.
My favorite teacher is a teacher I had recently, actually, when I joined the Peace Corps and learned Indonesian. It was my teacher, Lucy, and she worked for Wisma Bahasa, which is a language school in Yogyakarta, and they came to our training to train all of the Peace Corps volunteers in how to speak Indonesian in just 10 weeks. So they were trained to do this in a short amount of time, so we had classes with them sometimes for 10 hours a day. Lucy was my first teacher and my last teacher at the very end of training, and she was just fantastic. She gave me a great foundation in the beginning, the first week that I had her, and after that we had rotations of teachers, but I always wanted Lucy again. She always had fun games, and she explained things really clearly, and just gave us a lot of really useful vocabulary that made me feel like I knew the language really well. So I was glad to have her at the end too, and now I can speak Indonesian. My favorite teacher is a teacher I had recently, actually, when I joined the Peace Corps and learned Indonesian. It was my teacher, Lucy, and she worked for Wisma Bahasa, which is a language school in Yogyakarta, and they came to our training to train all of the Peace Corps volunteers in how to speak Indonesian in just 10 weeks. So they were trained to do this in a short amount of time, so we had classes with them sometimes for 10 hours a day. Lucy was my first teacher and my last teacher at the very end of training, and she was just fantastic. She gave me a great foundation in the beginning, the first week that I had her, and after that we had rotations of teachers, but I always wanted Lucy again. She always had fun games, and she explained things really clearly, and just gave us a lot of really useful vocabulary that made me feel like I knew the language really well. So I was glad to have her at the end too, and now I can speak Indonesian.
네, 사실은 공부를 할 때 일상생활이 바쁘다 보면은 뭐 하루에 조금씩 공부를 하면서 1년이라는 시간 동안 이만큼밖에 못 배울 수도 있잖아요.
Right.
그런데 레이첼 씨처럼 10주 동안 인도네시아어만 공부할 수는 없겠지만
Right.
약간 시간을 평소보다 더 많이 내는 한 2, 3주 정도 어떤 프로젝트식으로 공부하셔도 큰 도움이 될 것 같아요.
I think so as
Yeah.
well.
So if you can set aside maybe 2 or 3 weeks where you can spend a little more time than usual.
Yeah, studying. Then that will definitely be a big help.
Yeah.
And try and practice, as much as you can. Get out there and try and meet some foreign people. That will help as well.
That's right. There are some areas in Seoul and also around the country where you can meet a lot of native English speakers. Okay, so that's that. That concludes the story by Rachel.
And it's time for us to learn some new vocabulary.
Okay.
It's time for Street
Smart.